Hello guys, what's up? It's your boy, Mr. Maximum here, making a new video again. But today, I have a very special topic, as you could see in the title. Today we're going to talk about my top 10 games of 2018. Now, is this interesting to you? I don't think it is. But if you are interested, stick with me here. You will see some amazing titles that I've played over the last year. A few rules are very important, as I did last year. First of all, I need to have played the game, which means I have need to finish it. Well, no, that's not necessary, but basically I cannot put a game on this list if it's not played by me. So for a big example, probably would be Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I needed to think a bit about that one. But I have actually Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I've played it, but I cannot use this in the top 10 because A, I don't have a score for it, and B, I've only played like 2 hours-ish, so that's not a lot. Rule number 2 is that no remasters whatsoever. Normally I would also say no remakes, but there is one game on this list that is half remake. There are on one place there are 2 games, but they are from the same title and the same company, and you maybe can guess already which one it is, but that's an exception for me. So if the game is very alternate to the original, it's not really the original anymore, then it can be on this list, I suppose, but not for it is the Bayonetta remasters. I loved Bayonetta this year, and I have never played Bayonetta before. That was my first time, and I loved those games a lot, but they don't have a spot here on this list because they are remasters, they aren't new games. So let's begin. So let's talk about first a bit of honorable mentions. So first honorable mentions I want to give is A Way Out. A Way Out is a co-op game. You can play this in single player game, you can fully play this in co-op. It didn't make my top 10, but I liked the game. I played it with Yargo, one of my friends. If you have time to spare and this game is on sale for like 20 bucks, buy this. It's a very good game. It didn't come in my top 10, however. So next honorable mention is going to be, this is Kingdom Come of Deliverance. Kingdom Come of Deliverance is a fantasy open world RPG. It was very buggy at launch, and I fucking hate the lock picking. But before you go away, this game has a very good story, a very good gameplay mechanics. If you like something like Skyrim, for instance, this will be right up your alley. It's very realistic. I did not finish it, so yeah, that's also why it's a bit on my honorable mentions more, and it was not very polished. So, but give this game a try if it's like 20 bucks. I know it has, I think, even some bad reviews on Steam, but trust me, it's better than the reviews on Steam tell you. It's a pretty good game. So next honorable mention, quick, Monster Hunter World. I will actually get leached for this because a lot of people put Monster Hunter World on their top 10 lists in the game of the year even. And for me, I understand why Monster Hunter World is so good. The gameplay is amazing and graphics as well, but I just don't like this type of genre of games. They are massive multiplayer games, and I thought like the monster hunting mechanic is the part is so good, and you do that with friends and shit. But there's almost no story. I'm a very story passionate guy, but still this game got from me an 8.5 out of 10. So good. It is an amazing game. It's just not my type of game. Check it out if it's 20 bucks or something like that. It's an amazing game. Last honorable mention goes to Far Cry 5. Ubisoft, you did a very good job at Far Cry 5. First Far Cry 5 was actually in my top 10, very low, but because Super Smash Bros. Got in, it got kicked out. So it got on my honorable mention list. The gameplay is very cool in that game. The story is not bad, but it's almost non-existent either. The Joseph family is very interesting, but the villains aren't really present here, and I wished they were a bit more like Vaas from Far Cry 3. That will always be my favorite Far Cry. However though, this Far Cry has probably my most favorite setting of all time. Hope County is an amazing setting in America, and it's a change of pace of these exotic type of locations, and I really enjoyed that. And some of the side quests are actually very fun. The game is just fun. It's a fun game. And it's also, I think, an 8.5 out of 10. It's better than Far Cry 4 in my opinion, but it's not as good as Far Cry 3. So, honorable mentions: Far Cry, Monster Hunter World, Kingdom Come Deliverance, and A Way Out are my honorable mentions. Let's go to the actual top 10. The first game on our list is going to be Octopath Traveler for the Nintendo Switch. Octopath Traveler is a JRPG. It's a very special JRPG because it has a very cool art style and graphics and visuals. You will notice this immediately when you start up the game. It's not like any other mainstream normal game nowadays. It looks almost like an indie game, and I suppose it has a bit of an indie budget, or maybe AA. What's so cool about this game is that you have multiple characters, to be precisely 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters, I think, and every character has its own class and its own unique abilities and powers. You can switch up these powers though. As more as you play the game, you will unlock different types of classes that you can switch between classes, and also that means between skill trees. It's very varying game. Its battle system is very cool as well. It's turn-based, and what you usually do in a turn-based game is that you have the elemental attacks that are weak against special elemental monsters. For instance, fire is weak against water. That's also in this game a bit, but it's more about as well as using battle points, and battle points are points you will get every turn for every character, and you can invest these points to make your attacks more powerful, and that's just a fucking really cool addition as well. The story it's not bad, but most of the characters are not very connected with each other. Every character has their own story. But later in the game you will have a main antagonist, because I wasn't able to finish it fully because the game was so long, but every character's story arc is very interesting. It's well done. It's a very polished game. I haven't encountered any bugs or glitches or FPS drops. The Switch did a phenomenal job on handheld as well as on the TV. Yeah, so Octopath Traveler really deserves to be in my top 10, and I thought, and it's one of the better games on the Switch as well. I gave the original score was an 8.5 out of 10, and I think that's well deserved. The gameplay is amazing, the dungeons are amazing, and the atmosphere, it's a bit open world-ish, but there are loading screens in between, so you have more like hub areas that are connected to each other. Anyway, Octopath Traveler was an amazing game, 8.5 out of 10.
There was a world torn by endless war, and peace was a distant dream. But then came a great king, one who would change this world forever.
The next game I'm going to talk about is also a JRPG. On the 9th place we have Ni no Kuni 2 for the PS4, and I think it's only for the PS4. I don't know if it's exclusive. I could look it up for you, but I think it is. So what is Ni no Kuni? It's a JRPG as well, like Octopath Traveler, but it's from the same guys who did actually Professor Layton, and I love those games, puzzle games. The art style is very reminiscent of Studio Ghibli films. If you love anime, this art style will really love. If you love Studio Ghibli, this will really be at home for you. So let's start with the graphics. The graphics look very cool. Art style is very cool, very well done. The game really runs well as well. I didn't encounter any bugs. It's polished as this game is polished as fuck, and I can always appreciate it if games are very polished with no bugs or FPS drops. So that's a very cool thing about Ni no Kuni 2. I didn't play the first Ni no Kuni. I have heard some things about it, that it was a very good game. So I was very interested in this one, as I love JRPGs and RPGs. So the gameplay is very traditional as well in JRPG style. A lot of grinding is involved. If you don't like grinding, Octopath Traveler and Ni no Kuni 2 are maybe not very on your alley. However, the grinding is not very existent in Ni no Kuni 2, which is pretty good. It's pretty paced well. It's not as bad as Octopath. I think Octopath Traveler is a bit more grindy. You have this special mechanic in Ni no Kuni 2 that is a king building mechanic, a kingdom building mechanic. So I'm playing fucking Sims. No, in a fantasy world. So basically you have this kingdom you can build, and the more you can also recruit people in the world. The more you recruit people, the bigger your kingdom can become. And I really love this mechanic. It was something else. It's a bit of a rest after the whole JRPG thing with a lot of battles in between and shit like that in the map. So you have the combat. The combat is actually action. It is action oriented. It's not bad. I liked it. It was pretty good. You had these little things. I don't know the name of them, but you can throw them into battle, and they have different kinds of color, and they had special effects like fire or healing or ice attacks. It was a very unique game, and there's one city in this game, and it's very Chinese inspired. Oh my god, it's so fucking beautiful. Aesthetic in this game again is amazing. The music as well is very well done in Ni no Kuni 2. One of the plus points as well. If I have to give a negative, I thought the story was alright. It wasn't bad, but I have played some better JRPGs with a bit better story and pacing. And there is not a lot of voice acting in the game, but still, it did a very good job. It's just a very polished JRPG. Maybe it's more on your alley, and it was good enough to come in my top 10. So, Ni no Kuni 2, I think I gave it an 8.7 out of 10. So not a 9. I almost gave it a 9, but I thought that story was still a bit... It was not bad, but the characters... I wasn't very loved with the characters. Something I did have, for instance, with Dragon Quest. And Ni no Kuni 2 didn't really grab me in characters. However, Roland is a very good character, but the Evan, the young prince, it's not very in my taste, I would say. So it's a very robust JRPG. I would recommend it fully if you are searching for a good JRPG to pick up, especially if it's not $60. Which it isn't anymore. I think like $40 already. It steals already. A very good game.
For that, you will need courage.
For Sparta!
Cunning. Compassion. And commitment.
The next game on our list is a very big surprise, because I didn't think that this would happen. But it's an Assassin's Creed game in my top 10. Jesus Christ! Well done, Ubisoft, this year. I liked Far Cry 5, and now I liked Assassin's Creed Odyssey as well. Assassin's Creed Odyssey goes a bit off from the normal Assassin's Creed games that already happened with Origins, and now it's just fully embracing the RPG genre. But I love it. It's a very smart move of Ubisoft to do. And let's start with the graphics. Graphically, this game is beautiful. It has some very cool, amazing looking areas. A lot of variety in the open world. The open world, my man, for this game is huge. Like Trump would say, huge.
A huge fan of your mother.
And it plays in Greek, the game, the story, and Greek is a very cool setting as well. I think I like Greek even more than the Roman Italy era. The Spartan thing is super cool as well. You have a lot of cool armor you can have. It did sometimes have some bugs, so it's not bug free, but it's an open world game, so I'm not really surprised on that part. However, though, when it comes to frame rate, yeah, that's actually pretty good. I didn't really have a lot of frame rate drops on Assassin's Creed, and Assassin's Creed was notorious for frame rate drops, but this one didn't really have a lot of frame rate drops, so that was really good, Ubisoft. Good, well done, well done. Gameplay is also very cool. You have so many quests you can undertake, and not those quests, in my opinion, I have seen some other opinions online. In my opinion, these quests are not bad, and they aren't fetch questy at all. Some quests, maybe, yes, some are a bit fetch questy, but that's more in the beginning of the game. You have actually some very cool side quests and very funny ones. Cassandra and Alexio are very nice characters to play as well. However though, I do enjoy Alexandra a bit more, the female character. As for me, a first time actually that I enjoy a female character more than a male character. And she's more, I don't know, she has some charm to her, and I don't want to say charisma. Yeah, it is charisma. She has a bit more charisma than Alexio. Alexio is a bit more self-centered, I suppose. I don't know how to say that. But I love Cassandra as a character. So gameplay is very cool. The combat is very different and revamped from the other games. It's the same as Origins, but even more better than Origins, because you have now special moves you can use. For instance, this is Sparta! Oh. You can Sparta kick someone off a cliff, and it's amazing. You have far more different abilities, and yes, it still has a lot of the Ubisoft tropes with the camps you can take over, but for some reason they are more fun. There are no fucking towers you have to fucking climb anymore. This is better. I think they can do a bit more on story though, and there were some negatives about it, that it's very grindy, and I can confirm that. You have microtransactions that will give you an XP boost, but fuck those. Fuck microtransactions. I'm never going to buy microtransactions. But the game is playable without microtransactions. That's a good thing. If you see and do side quests, you won't be under-leveled. So if you will play Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I will recommend, it's one of the best Assassin's Creeds after Black Flag. I love Black Flag a bit more. Be prepared for some grinding, because it's a really, you have to see this as an RPG. It's a really good RPG. So the score for Assassin's Creed Odyssey was 8.7 out of 10 as well. I thought of a 9 at first, but it did have some hefty grinding, and sometimes the story is a bit low-ish, but it has some really good cutscenes and moments, so 8.7 out of 10 for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Okay, so next game. I hope Nintendo, listen to me, don't copyright me, okay? Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I am a fan of the Super Smash Bros. Series. They are very good fighting games, and I just love the concept of a lot of Nintendo characters fighting against each other. Like fucking Pikachu against Link against Mario. How cool is that, you know? And this game is big on its roster. It has like 70 characters. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section below. Maybe I can show you a bit on the back. It has so many characters, as you can see, from all different franchises. Now, I'm a big fan of Super Smash Bros. Brawl, actually. A lot of people really didn't like Brawl. I did, because of the single player part that was in it. Because you could play the single player part in co-op with someone else. And I really I like the platformer sequences and the boss fights. So I was a bit sad that wasn't present. You still have, it's a bit of a single player thing in it, with these spirits mechanics. You can collect spirits basically to power up your fighter in different kind of ways. So there's a lot of strategy to the game that is very appreciated. When it comes to gameplay, this game is almost a 10 out of 10. It's fucking amazing. It's fun to play with friends, with like 4 friends and 4 Switch controllers, and with each a different character. It's fucking amazing. However, though, I'm a bit disappointed by the story part that is in it. I did like the brawl. Don't murder me in the comment section. I like brawl a bit more, personally. I'm not the biggest fan of Melee and the Wii U version, but this one is very good, and Brawl is the best one in my opinion. Graphics wise, it's also very cool. It has very aesthetic graphics. There are no frame drops again, no glitches. This game is fucking polished to a T. I didn't encounter any bugs or glitches. Yeah, so Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I don't really have anything else to say. It has a lot of very good music tracks from every franchise you can use in your fights. You can make custom fights with custom stages. Yeah, this game is amazing. I don't really have a lot to say anything else to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I think I gave the final score for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate a 9 out of 10. I think it's a badass game. It's one of the best games you can get on the Switch, next to Mario Kart. If you have Mario Kart and Super Smash Bros, you will have an amazing evening with friends. So only if you pick this up, if you pick this up with friends, just to play with friends, not just for only online and single player, will have an amazing time. So 9 out of 10 for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Over an hour since a little girl was taken hostage on the top floor of a building here in downtown Detroit. Details are still emerging on what exactly happened, but the hostage taker could be the family's android. Negotiator on site.
Don't come any closer or I'll jump!
No, please, I'm begging you!
Hi, Daniel! My name is Connor! There's no way out, Daniel. The only question is whether or not you take another innocent life.
The next game is actually a bit of a surprise. It's a PlayStation exclusive and maybe a bit also of a controversial game, but I really loved it. Detroit Become Human. I thought this game had a fucking amazing story. I love games with a good story, you guys know that by now, I think. So what is this game about? It is about androids, robots that will be our servants in the future. So something like 2050, I don't know. Okay, so the game plays in 2038 in the future. So that's about 20 years from now. We have androids that will do our work for us, and what basically happens, you can already guess, the androids will have a conscious, and they will rebel against the human race. So the game is made by Quantic Dream. They also made Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls. Very good games in my opinion, especially Heavy Rain. But Detroit Become Human is even one step ahead in my opinion. Now, let's start with graphics. Graphics, it's 10 out of 10, it's fucking beautiful. But they have to, because they will need to improvise for the lack of gameplay, that they will need a good graphics. Everything is motion captured, I think, from every character. There is one character in particular in the game which I fucking love. It's this detective character, android. I don't know what his name is anymore, but he is so good. He plays it so well, and he has this relationship with an older detective, and they want to search for this android rebellion. So basically, he is on the side of the humans, of the police, and they want to get the ones who are responsible for planting a virus. The human race says it's a virus, but they are just getting conscience to think for themselves. I fucking love the game story, as you can hear. Yeah, the game story is like an 9.5 out of 10. Yeah, it's fucking beautiful. Now the only negative, of course, about this game is that it is like a movie. It plays a bit like a movie, but you have a lot of endings, so there is a lot of replayability in the game. Maybe you don't need to buy it on full price. You have a lot of quick time events you need to do, and most of the time I'm not so much a fan of quick time events, but in this game they are actually pretty well done. They are not annoying. Pretty good game, and it's made by, what was David Cage is his name, I think. It's the director of the game. He did a fantastic job on the story. Yeah, Detroit Become Human is just a good PlayStation exclusive, and I thought I need to put this on my top 10 because I love the story and the world that is setting in the future, and it's plays very realistic. It's a very human story as well. So I gave Detroit Become Human a 9.2 out of 10. The Metacritic score for this game is actually pretty lower than that. I was shocked that not a lot of people liked it as much as I did. I know some reviewers personally in the YouTube space that do think the same way as me. So you should try it out for yourself. If you like these type of games like Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls or Life is Strange, it's not episodic though, it's one full story, then you need to play this. It's amazing. If you don't like these movie type of games, then you can skip it even for me, or get it at a full price drop for like $20. But you are the one who decides. So, amazing game, 9.2 out of 10.
Peter, it's time to get up.
So, we are in the top 5. And now we will have a very amazing game. Again, a PlayStation exclusive. So yeah, PlayStation is just fucking killing everyone with their great exclusives. Maybe you can guess already which it is. It's your favorite web slinger, Spider-Man. So, one little amazing fact about me: I'm not even the biggest superhero fan there is, but I'm starting to like Marvel and these movies from them and DC, and I was already a big fan of Batman, and Spider-Man was my second favorite hero, and now Spider-Man got its own game, and I was very anticipated this game, and I can say it's fully worth it. The game is amazingly good at the story department, in graphics and gameplay. Graphics, in my opinion, are very good. The open world is very dense. You can almost look in every building as well, which is fucking great. So it's all about Spider-Man. You're swinging with your webs through the city, and the controls for the game are amazing. You know, they feel like they nailed how Spider-Man should control. No frame drops, no bugs. Again, this is a game polished to the T. Maybe I got some frame drops in very, very busy areas with a lot of shooting and criminals fighting, but even that was pretty decent and well done. So the story of the game is probably the best thing about the game. You play as Peter Parker, Spider-Man version, when he is a bit older but not too old. So it's a bit, I think, in the middle of Spider-Man's career. I'm not a huge expert on Spider-Man, so forgive me if I say something wrong. And you have some villains in the game. I won't spoil them for you because that's part of the fun, the villains. The villains are very well done. The boss fights with them as well. Spider-Man has a lot of gadgets you can use, and they are very cool. The combat is also very good. Maybe for my taste though, it gets a bit repetitive after a long time, because they do play the same way out, and I have to say the AI doesn't change a lot in its tactics. It will throw grenades at you and keep shooting you, and they will come directly to you. But they did this on purpose, because Spider-Man is able to dodge everything and jump everywhere and shit. So I think it is on purpose. Maybe they could change up some of the moves the enemy did, but still it was a pretty good job. The only negative I have to say about Spider-Man is, for fuck's sake, this Ubisoft style open world list of check marks you have to collect or do. I am not a fan of that. I would have appreciated more side quest-ish, like The Witcher, maybe with a villain that is doing a robbery or something like that, and you have to stop him. There are some of those in side quests, but not a lot. More of the side quests are these classic Ubisoft style of side activities, but you don't really need to do them, so that's the good thing. There is no purpose also on leveling, in my opinion, because Spider-Man is easily capable of defeating enemies without really leveling. Only maybe in health. I think I don't know anymore. I've played so many games, but I forgot that you have like a skill tree. But anyway, Spider-Man is made in such a way that you can do the game, do the main story, and don't really need to bother about side quests whatsoever. Still though, for what that was, the main story amazingly done, graphics amazing, and combat even amazing. So I thought this is one of the best superhero games ever, next to Batman Arkham City. I think that's my most favorite Batman game, Max. So Spider-Man got from me on PS4 a, let me look, a 9.4 out of 10, almost badass seal of approval. It's an amazing game, everyone should play it. Yeah, Spider-Man. So on number 4, we have a very special game, and I thought this was the best JRPG and RPG this year. Dragon Quest XI. Dragon Quest XI, oh man, it's such a fucking amazing game. I will tell you why in a few seconds. One thing, this is the first Dragon Quest game I have ever played. And I'm now a fan as well of the Dragon Quest series. It's just a very amazing game. So let's start with graphics. Graphically, this game is beautiful as fuck. It has the art design of the Dragon Ball anime series. If you love Dragon Ball, you will feel right at home at this art style. It has amazing, cool monster designs. Most of the time Square Enix, it's published by Square Enix. They do a fantastic job on monster designs. I already am looking forward to Kingdom Hearts 3's monster designs as well. And also the cities of the small towns in the game are amazingly beautiful, and the people who walk in there, and it's just all well done aesthetically, in my opinion. And the graphics, they are all good. There are no frame drops. The game is polished as shit. No bugs, glitches, all polished. Very good, Square Enix. So the gameplay. Let's talk a bit about the gameplay. One negative I have for Dragon Quest XI is the music is not very in variety good. It's always the same fucking battle music, and I got a bit sick of that. They can change that up in the future, in my opinion. That's one negative I have. One more negative, which is a bit small, is this game is a bit too traditional. For instance, if you have elemental damage, it doesn't show you at all if it's super effective, like for instance Pokemon or even something like Final Fantasy. It doesn't show you. You have to see it by the numbers if it does more damage, and I wasn't really a fan of that. And the menu in this game is so old, you know. But for the rest, now we have the negatives out of the way. Oh no, wait, one more negative, but I will. It's also, oh man, it's difficult. It's a negative, but also a positive. So I will leave that up for the last part. So let's talk a bit more about gameplay. The turn-based system is fucking amazing. You have a lot of moves you can do per character. Every character has a bit of its own class again, like Octopath Traveler. The characters and the story in this game are amazingly well done. However, it's a very, very long game. If you want, it's even longer than Persona fucking 5, and that's 100 hours long. The characters in this game are some of my favorite thing in this game. You have the main character who is always silent, but you have the thief character, I like him a lot. The swordsman character, which is fucking gay. He's gay. But I like him, he's such a charismatic character. I love also the little girl. That is, I can't spoil why you have a little girl with you, so I won't talk about that. The story is also very nice and well done. However, I would have liked a bit more of the interaction with the villain, but it was good enough in my opinion. Now let's go about the thing I wanted to talk about. The positive and the negative thing about this game. This game, when you are finished with it, like at 80-hour mark, I will tell you, you are not done fully with the story. That ticked me off a bit. So the credits were rolling, and there was like, to be continued. So I thought like, what the fuck? Do you mean DLC? And no, they meant the post game in it. So this post game, guys, is this post game changes everything about the whole story. It's so, oh man, Man. You need to play the post game. It will give far more context to some questions I had at the end of the game. I thought there were plot holes, but they will get answered in the post game. So the good thing about this is the post game is very rich. It's one of the biggest post games in a game ever. However, there were some things in the post game that really needed to be explained, in my opinion, in the main game. I have played fucking 80 hours and I still didn't get the whole picture. I thought that was a bit stupid, but still, because of these flaws, the game is so amazing, and I loved the characters that saved it, and the combat, and the art style, and how the game looks and plays, and it's just such an amazing JRPG. I can totally see why everyone in Japan loves it. I love it too, and I needed to get this in the top 5. It's one of the best JRPGs on PlayStation 4 after Persona 5. Yeah, fucking great game. So I gave Dragon Quest Echoes of Elusive Age Max. I gave that a 9.4 out of 10, 9.5 battles of approval seal. It is really, you need to pick it up if you love JRPGs. Okay, so now we are at the top 3 games. This is a special one for third place. They are 2 games. I cheated a bit, but they are from the same franchise. Yakuza 6 and Yakuza 2, Kiwami 2. Let me explain. So these games, if you know from last year when I did my top 10, I had Yakuza 0 on like the 5th place. It's the best Yakuza game I've ever played, and I became fan of the Yakuza games. I think they are one of the most underrated games ever, game franchise. First Yakuza 6 came out in April, I think, with God of War. And Yakuza 6 is such an amazing game as well. I didn't thought it was better than Yakuza 0, but still such an amazing game with more innovation in its gameplay. And then you have Yakuza Kiwami 2, which is actually a remake. And Yakuza Kiwami 2 is a remake of the second Yakuza, and it's just as good as 6. These two are a bit on the same, even on the same score in my opinion. Some things are better in 6 on the story part, some things are better at Kiwami 2 with gameplay, but also here on gameplay and here also on story. They are both just as good. So if you guys all know by now, Yakuza, it doesn't really have the most prettiest graphics, but it is polished as shit again. No bugs, no glitches, no FPS drops whatsoever, so great on Sega for this amazing port to the international market. So let's talk a bit about the gameplay for both. So in Yakuza 6 you have voiced side quests, and in Yakuza Kiwami 2 you don't have voiced side quests. But in my opinion, the side quests in Kiwami 2 were better. So they both have their own things that make them such great games. In both you will play as Kiryu, and in Yakuza 6 you also have like 2 big locations where you can explore. And Yakuza Kiwami as well, you have I don't know the cities out of my head, but Osaka and Tokyo, part of Tokyo and Osaka both, like in Zero. The games are just fucking amazing. Combat wise, the combat is in both games such an amazing thing. You have the skill tree, which is so big, and you can basically get points for every category in the skill tree. For instance, the purple, you have purple, and you have blue, and you have green. I don't really know anymore what they stand for. But there's a special mechanic in Yakuza: when you eat, you will get even more XP. And the more you eat after battles, not the more, but you have a hunger gauge, and you need to see if that hunger gauge is full or not. It's a very cool system. Then you have the story on both. They are both great in their own ways. In my opinion, Yakuza 6, Song of Life, has actually the best ending in one of video game endings of all time. I really love that ending. And Kiwami 2 has a part with Majima that you can play. So you have a lot of content for Yakuza fans. I really want to say, really search Yakuza up on the internet. Look at reviews, in-depth reviews. For instance, Angry Joe did a really good review about Yakuza 0, because these games are so underrated. And in my opinion, they were some of the best this year, especially they will get a 3rd place. So Yakuza, yeah, great.
My son, we do not fight because the world makes us fight. We fight for a greater purpose. Forge into the unknown.
The second game that came number 2 on my top 10, which was just not able to be my game of the year, and it has a 10 out of 10 score. I can already tell you that it is a masterpiece rating. God of War for the PS4. Now, God of War is just a fucking masterpiece of a game. I haven't played such a good PlayStation exclusive since Uncharted 4, and I think I gave that game of the year back in 2016. However, this game is even better than Uncharted 4. That's how competitive this year was. This game, God of War, I've played the previous God of Wars, and it's totally different, but I love it. It is something more modern, and it will appeal to new fans, I think. And so, if you have ever played something like The Last of Us or Uncharted, you will feel right at home for this game as well. So the cool thing is that it's a very mythical game. It's about Nordic mythology. First it was about Greek mythology, but in this new trilogy of games that they will probably make for God of War, it's about the Nordic trilogy. I mean mythology. So let's talk about graphics. This game graphically is fucking amazing, fucking beautiful. I don't care that I'm dropping the F-bomb. It looks probably like one of the best PS4 games as well. as one of the best linear games I've ever played. It is a semi-open world-ish, but it is mostly linear. So I have had no glitches, no graphical things, no bugs, frame drops. They were not existent. However, I have to say, I'm playing on the PS4 Pro. So maybe the normal PlayStation version can be different, but if you play on the Pro, no issues. 4K with a smooth. I think it was 30 FPS. I don't think it was 60, but no frame drops whatsoever. It was brilliantly done. So then you have the game. Let's talk about gameplay. The combat in this game is the best shit ever. I was a bit skeptical because the gameplay they first showed was over the shoulder, and it is still over the shoulder, but I thought the combat would then be not as good as the first God of Wars. I was totally wrong. This is a God of War done in a new way. Maybe you don't like this way if you play it, but in my opinion it was amazing, and it still had the feeling that you were a god among monsters and humans, and you slaughtered everyone. And when you throw your axe, your ice axe, and you call it back, oh man, it's one of the most satisfying feelings ever. And you also have puzzles in the game. They are 100% natural. They are not artificial in any way. They are so well done. They involve, for instance, a thing with the throwing axe. They did that a fantastic job on integrating the combat and weapons in puzzles. That was very well done. And then the best part of this game is the story and the boss. Oh man, the boss fights. I will tell you one thing. The first boss fight in the game, the very first boss fight in the game, is better than some boss fights I have played in years, next to Kingdom Hearts or something like that. It is fucking amazing. This boss fight, they use the environment and all types of things. I cannot spoil. You will have to play it for yourself. It's amazing. So the story as well is also amazing. You play with your boy, your son, basically, from Kratos. I don't know if that's a spoiler. No, it's not it's not a spoiler. And you will go to the mountaintop to scatter the ashes of her mother, your wife, ex-wife, because that was her last wish, basically. And on the way you will encounter a lot of shit, and you will see things, and there are not a lot of characters though in the game. The characters that are there are very well done. For so instance, Freya, the god of nature or something like that, I don't know. I'm not very good in mythology. You have also two trolls-like creatures. Oh, I don't know their names, but they are so funny, and they have like these feuds between each other, and they are two shopkeepers. Very well done. These shopkeepers will give you enhancements to your axe or armor, or will upgrade you. Such an amazing time, and it's just all well done, man. It's a masterpiece even. I am very torn in the fact, I don't know if this is my newest favorite PlayStation exclusive ever, or that it's still Last of Us. I need to see when Last of Us 2 comes out next year, I hope. If Last of Us will stay on top. Otherwise, if Last of Us 2 isn't as good as normally thought it would be, then I think this God of War will take over being the best PlayStation exclusive ever made.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a robbery.
Sons of Dutch. Makes us brothers. Sometimes brothers make mistakes.
You'll never change. I know that.
Now, the #1 game of this year is it a surprise even? Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah. It's no surprise, man. I mean, it's fucking Rockstar. What do you want? Rockstar does it again after GTA 5 and the original Red Dead Redemption. Jesus Christ, these guys are just one of the best developers in gaming, and they deserve it. So the thing is, actually, Red Dead Redemption 2 wins my Game of the Year. But it actually didn't win with the normal game awards. The God of War won, which I was surprised by. I don't mind, because God of War is also a masterpiece. They are both masterpieces in their own ways, so I don't care. But for me, Red Dead Redemption just won a small bit over God of War. Now I'll explain to you why. So let's start off with the graphics. It's the best looking open world game I've ever seen. It's better than Witcher 3. I praise Witcher 3 as one of the best looking open world games ever, but now it's overtaken by Red Dead Redemption 2. But still, in my opinion, Witcher 3 is still the best PlayStation 4 game ever made. Not Red Dead Redemption 2, but that's a bit more because of taste. The graphics in this game, when you see fog, there is fog. Thick fog, okay? This game is beautiful in every way, with blood, gore, nature, the open world, the animals that roam, the fur on the animals, their skin, the fucking ear. I don't know how the name is in English, but the ears, you can see it through the fucking ears because of the lighting in this game. 10 out of 10 for graphics alone. Did I have any bugs with the game? A few, not a lot. Not a lot. It's very polished. I had 2 bugs, I think, in total for my 60-hour playtime. I didn't have any crashes, I didn't have any frame drops whatsoever. Did I have frame drops? No, I don't think so. That come to mind, so that's good. Red Dead Redemption is again fucking polished as shit. Maybe the only negative I can say about Red Dead Redemption 2 is that the controls are a bit clunky, but that's Rockstar fashion, you know, the controls always have been this way. Yeah, so I can't really talk negative about that. There's also a bit of a pacing issue at the middle of the game. I won't spoil you because I cannot talk about what that is. You will see it for yourself. But the rest of the story is very well done. I will talk a bit more about the story later. So the gunplay in the game is the same as Red Dead Redemption 1, so you will automatically lock on your enemy. You can actually turn this off if you don't want to. I like to have that aim assist because in Rockstar games it's not very handy to aim whatsoever. The horse riding in this game is so motherfucking realistic. It's too realistic. This whole game is... That's also one small nitbit for Red Dead Redemption. It is sometimes a bit too realistic. And if you have to go with your horse from one point to the other point on the all side of the map, it's tiresome. But that's also a bit what this game is about. It is about having only a horse, and you need to camp. Well, you don't need to camp, but you can set what I did, for instance, is make myself a bit more immersive. That if I need to go to half across the map, I would stop at the middle and I would camp and just look at the view outside, you know, and the stars. This game screams aesthetic and beautiful and with its graphics. I just enjoy, and then I will ride further. So it wasn't for me an issue at all. So there are a lot of systems in place as well. You have the camping system, but you also have your own camp. Not your camp, but the Dutch Vanderlyn gang camp. And you need to provide to the camp to make upgrades to the camp for the different tents. That's basically how you have houses. In GTA you have houses. Here you have camps. Well. So gameplay wise, this is like a 9.5 out of 10. But now comes the good part, the story. The story is, oh man, it's so good. It follows Arthur Morgan. And I cannot spoil what will happen because there is something bad going to happen with him. But you will need to play the game to see that. If you play the first Red Dead Redemption, you probably will know what will happen because they will repeat the same cycle a bit. I will leave it at that. The characters in the game, amazingly done, amazingly voice acted. Every fucking time you go on a mission, it's voice acted, and they talk to each other, they talk to you, and you have I totally forgot about talking mechanics. So there is a new mechanic in the game, and when you press R2 or L2 on the PlayStation 4, I think, you will have the option to interact with every NPC you will see. You can antagonize them, you can rob them, you can be nice to them, and your honor meter will go up. The more honor you have, you will have sales in stores, and you will have lower prices in stores for guns, for something like that. If you have a low honor meter, however, you will be hated by everyone. It's so funny. And this game is so immersive. You can even, for instance, if you want to rob a city or a small town, you can even put up your cloth mask and no one will recognize you. This game goes far in mechanics you can use. It's just a masterpiece. I already expected that from Rockstar. Rockstar always makes amazing games. And I really am curious what they will do in the future, if they will make a GTA 6 or Bully 2. Yeah, so Red Dead Redemption is my game of the year. If you have anything like what is your game of the year, leave it in the comment section below. I would really want to know. This video is going probably to be very long. So again, honorable mentions as well to Monster Hunter, Kingdom Come Deliverance, A Way Out, and Far Cry 5 to honorable mentions. Pick these games up if they are on sale. Don't buy them at full price. For the ones that I have mentioned here, the top 10, you can buy them at full price. So this was Mr. Maximum. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we will do one next year again, I guess, from Game of the Year, because I love to make these videos. I love gaming, it's one of my favorite hobbies of all time. So now, fuck off.